Liao, chief consultant and founder of GL Consulting in China, get her thoughts on the Trump-Xi Jinping summit and takeaways that might be relevant for the energy markets. Liao.
Hi, Alex, good morning to everyone, and thank you for Sean for this introduction. And yes, actually, Trump and Xi just complete their meetings last week, and just now we just say there's a very interesting that the first day when they are doing the sightseeing in Beijing, the weather is quite sunny, and the second day when they sit down to talk, actually the outside sky just become quite cloudy. So I think that already give the signals to the market. And as a conclusion, I would like to distill the outcomes into three key points. And I will frame it as first of all, it's more like a crisis management. Second is a transactional stability and strategic guardrails. So first of all, I think it's a I will more suggest that we don't mistake this visit and this summit meeting for a warming of a relationship. It's more like a high level damage control mission. So for both sides, they recognize that the current trajectory was too costly. So for the U.S., the priority is to secure the tangible wins and like agriculture orders and the job creation deals and to manage domestic inflation and political ops. But for China, it was about to secure an external environment of stability as we entering the crucial 15th five-year plan. And also you already seen that April's number is not turned out as so lovely. So the second, it's more like a shift to a transactionalization. So we will move from a history of unitary pressure to a constructive, stable relationship. I think more how to say in the past.
Does China think it achieved that? That was the objective. Was that achieved?
Yeah. So far, I think the best from China. I think the best win is both sides agree to build a so-called constructive, stable relationship. What does it mean? It's more like in the history, it's a U.S. post sanction over China, and China just take it and to think how to cope with it. But now the formation of this Trade and Investment Council, they form a Trade and Investment Council. That means they will keep the dialogue. Then you will not to avoid so-called unilateral pressure, just one side over the other side. So it's more like a dialogue. So I think it's a win for China and from this part, but no solid deal from the talks. We don't see any solid deal from this part yet. And all the we need to take a long time to see what will be discussed under the new two council, the Trade Council and the Investment Council.
I wanted to get a follow-up on this issue obviously was mentioned in the summit with China and US last week. And although it was Trump was really more the voice saying that China agreed to help with the Strait of Hormuz, that agreed the Strait of Hormuz closure was a bad thing, agreed that Iran should not impose a toll of the Strait. But this was the words of Trump saying what China thought. In your opinion, what does China think about this, and what will China do, or will China do anything that can help to fix this problem?
Yeah, you come to the core question, and actually that's one of the issues both sides did discussed last week. And one side, China mentioned about Taiwan, and the other side mentioned about Middle East. And here, yeah, U.S. Trump did make the request, and China expressed a favorable attitude. I think here is more in attitude, but often no hard promise yet. And from this side, honestly speaking, China sitting by now, generally speaking, we are taking the price impact than the supply impact, as you see. China, although China lowering its refinery run, but China increased its distillates, gasoline, and kerosene export in May. And we're also seeing that the crude supply from Middle East start to see a turnaround since the mid of May. So I think because of the Yanbu port already have more cargo is landing, and UAE is also supplying more to the Northeast Asia, to Japan and to Korea. Actually, we're seeing the recovery from the supply side. For China, so, as we already mentioned, from the supply side, we are not that in such a high pressure, but China do also hold a positive. They don't
Let
hold,
me just ask
they
you
don't
about
expect this straight close that long because the cost, the economy already damaged. The April's number is not good. The whole the PPI almost come down to 50. Investment also historical low. Loan enterprises loan also historical low.
And you think
So
that's
China
connected to the Strait of Hormuz?
is a influence to the price. It's more like a price, the cost effect rather than supply. China, the threat over China is not from the supply side, it's from the cost side.
The price side.
Higher cost.
Just to connect, you mentioned in the early part of your comment that these 2 points, Taiwan, the Chinese leader Xi Jinping mentioned Taiwan very strongly, very publicly in his comments. Trump mentioned, obviously, Iran and the Strait of Hormuz. What is the connection there? I mean, the US government is about to approve $16 billion worth of weapons for Taiwan. Is that the kind of situation that China would be willing to then help in the Americans in the Strait of Hormuz at the same time that they are providing weapons to Taiwan? It seems to me a very difficult thing to have happen at the same time.
Yeah, from my personal view, I think this is more like a strategy watchguard rail, and China has a strong pursuit in Taiwan's these so-called status. At least and what I read, I also read the news saying that the weapon deal between US and Taiwan actually is pending now, although they already signed, but not
Trump has to approve it, yeah.
Yeah, so now I think it's more like a in negotiation or exchange for straits. US is more harsh than China. For Taiwan, China want you avoid, say you will not support the independent. So just your attitude.
Liao, I wanted to get your final thoughts today on the Russian President Vladimir Putin is coming to China today, and we still have the outstanding issue of the second gas pipeline from Russia to China, which it seems the Chinese are the ones that are not too keen or playing hard to get. The price isn't quite right. Can you tell us a little bit about your expectations of this second gas pipeline from Russia to China? Will a deal be done?
Yeah, that's the one of the key issue in current the petroleum oil and gas market. In general speaking, I think this is the construction and the deal is it has high possibility to be concluded. But as you mentioned, the price is the core. And now it will be complete, but probably will not in the short term. It will be extended and keep probably wait until the Straits situation getting ease down or cool down, and then making the price
until
lower.
what? Until
the price can be eased down at the Straits. Hormones issue can be solved down. And the price
so that it will bring the price of
down.
gas down.
Yeah,
okay.
Price can be cooled down. And also another dispute or another alternative, and an alternative will be China also looking for alternative supply from the Turkmenistan and the Central Asia, rather than one way rely on Russia. Normally, as we mentioned the last time, normally China will not feel comfortable when single sourced over 25%. So that will be a red line, alerting line. So Central Asia will be another alternative. So I think that's another.
So no deal this week. No deal on this visit.
Yeah, probably we not solid deal. We keep going and identify what area, more like a US, what area we need to follow up rather than side right now. It's more like agree in framework, but some details still pending for further discussion.